In essence, we're an airline.
Yeah.
We have all the same functions as an airline, from maintenance to catering to supply, safety, training. We have proven that an asset-intensive business like this is lucrative.
Welcome to Decision Points. I'm Doug Hudson.
I'm Scott Wood.
Man, very excited to have Alex Danza, founder and CEO of Vonlane. What's happening?
Not too much. Thanks for having me.
What is Vonlane?
Well, Vonlane is, we call it elevated regional bus transportation. And so
Yes.
we are, for all intents and purposes, an airline on the ground with departures almost every hour between all the major cities in Texas, as well as Atlanta and Nashville and Memphis.
Come on, you're growing.
Yeah.
I am a Vonlane user. I've absolutely loved it. We may choose to edit this. I took it in the first year or two. There were free drinks, and then the Department of Transportation basically said,
TABC.
TABC, of course.
No
what
more
fun
free
are
drinks.
they?
Yeah.
Said no.
They said no. We went down to Austin. We hired we didn't hire a lobbyist. We had some lobbyist passengers who
I
came
bet.
to us
Fighting for
and they
you.
said, "We've got to have alcohol on the buses. We're gonna get a law passed for you." And I said, "You're crazy. We're in year 2. I don't have money to hire a lobbyist. We'll do it in trade. Let us ride for free. We'll write a bill." They sent me a bill within a day.
No way.
And they got a sponsor in the legislature, and I spent a couple of months going down there testifying in front of committees and things like that. And everyone I would meet in the halls at the state capitol would, "Oh, I know about you guys. This is the booze bus bill. I love your service. My chief of staff uses it from my district to get to Austin. We're gonna get this thing passed unanimously." The governor signed it. So
Booze
booze
is powerful, isn't
Yes,
it?
that allowed us to sell the beer and the wine and the spirits on the vehicles. And then fast forward to when we expanded to the Southeast region, we went and did the same thing in the Tennessee legislature. Same exact process, and
That's
got a bill passed there to allow us to just put us on an equal footing with airlines and trains.
Exactly.
That's what we want.
Yeah. All right, well, let's back up for a second. Where are you from? What are some distinctive memories of kind of childhood that maybe helped shape who you are today?
Oh, great question. I'm a New York kid.
Are you really?
Yeah, grew up in New York City until 8th grade.
Like the city?
Yeah, and
So
What
as
area?
many years as I've known you, I did not know that.
Yeah. And so the formidable thing for me back then and was I was a New York Daily News delivery boy,
No.
delivering newspapers
On foot or bike?
on
or-
bike.
Really?
On bike, except on Sundays. That
And no
paper-
helmet probably
that
either.
No helmet. That paper's massive on Sundays. So bless her heart, my mom drove me on Sundays to my route. And it was a great business for a kid to do. You had some skin in the game because you paid for the papers first.
Yes.
All right, for your route. So you say you had 100 houses. You paid the Daily News for these papers first, and then it was on you to go door to door and collect from your subscribers at night. This was no internet, no electronics back then. This was going to paper-based
you're knocking
thing.
on doors.
You're knocking on doors. So at 6 a.m., you're out there on your bike delivering the papers, and then that night you're going around trying to catch people at home and collect cash to cover
How old are
yourself.
you?
I was 7th and 8th grade. I did this.
Do you know the movie Better Off Dead?
I don't.
John Cusack, you have to go YouTube this.
Okay.
He keeps knocking. No, he owes the paperboy $2. In the entire movie, this kid shows up at the ski slope, at his home, at the diner. "I want my $2." That was you.
That was me.
You were an entrepreneur.
I
at
had folks. I
13
could
years
not
old.
ever catch them at home, and so they'd get
were
in
home.
They'd get into arrears, and I'm carrying them. And I'm like, do I cut them off? Do I stop delivering the paper? Will I catch them eventually? It was unbelievable. So yeah,
Did you cut any customers off?
Oh yeah, of course you had to eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it teaches you persistence. Work hard. It was a great deal for a kid to do, and it really was formative to me. And I always think back to that, learning that getting up early, doing something difficult, and then having some skin in the game, and having to be persistent to be successful.
That person, that customer's taking money from you.
Yeah.
You delivered your goods, and they're not.
Yeah.
What neighborhood were you delivering in?
A portion of Staten Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've done, I don't know, 70 of these or so now.
Yeah, we're about 95 right now.
Okay, so even more.
Yeah.
And this paper route conversation has come up multiple times with multiple guests as sort of an early entrepreneurial venture.
Very interesting.
And a few people have said, again, this can start to feel like old person talk, so I want to be really careful here. But what is replicating that entrepreneurial business today? That I think
kids.
For kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, what could your or my kid do? Not lawn mowing, maybe some other things, but yeah, it was a way for young entrepreneurs to decide whether they even like that business model or not.
I saw a young person out painting the numbers on the curbs the other day, and I went home to Helena and I said, "Hey, have you ever thought about this?" She didn't bite.
She didn't bite.
She didn't bite. So
Yeah, the newspaper route is great because it's got physical effort,
Yep.
it's got mental effort,
Yep.
and you've got to persevere to make it happen.
yeah,
Okay, so you're raised in New York.
till 8th grade.
Yeah, then we family moved to central New Jersey, right by Princeton University. Continued with always working. Did my time in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Putting stuff on shelves. One thing I learned early on that's really formative for me still today as an entrepreneur is I like to say that I always say yes.
Yeah.
You guys contacted me. Yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
I say yes to almost everything.
Yep.
And I learned that really early on during high school with the different jobs that I held. I'm packing, putting, cat food on shelves one day, and the store manager says, "Can we train you on the cash register?" Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Fast forward, I'm a lifeguard at a hotel. "Can we train you to work inside at the front desk?" Yes, of course. And so I just look back at my time as a young employee, and I find myself that I always said yes to things. And so I kind of carried that forward into everything I do. And then I joined YPO in 2009, and a smart person says to me, "Whenever this organization asks you to do something, you should say yes." I said, "Yeah, I do that already, but that's a great piece of advice."
Yeah.
And I started saying yes to that organization. I know Scott's a member as well. And the dividends that paid, just huge.
Yeah.
All the way to when I started this business, one of the first things I did was I needed to meet hotel general managers.
Yeah.
I didn't know any hotel general managers because we partner with hotels.
Yeah.
So I put something out on YPO, and because I had given back to that community, man, did they give back to me. And two of the most important deals that I signed to get this business going were because of YPO.
Wow.
And one was with a YPOer who within 30 seconds said, "You're in YPO. I see you've been chairman of your chapter. You've done this. You've done that. I like your idea. Sign me up."
To a busy entrepreneur, Alex, who's listening to this, I know some of it is intuitive, but drill into a little bit why it's important to say yes. Why do you think that's...
Well, and then the other part of that question is like, how do you protect your time?
Yeah.
Right? Because a busy CEO, entrepreneur, founder, there's a lot of things to say yes to.
I think protecting time first, I would say, is having a structure to your life and leaving margin in that structure to be able to say yes. So I'm really kind of passionate about, this is my schedule. I follow it every day. It starts at this time in the morning. It goes till this time at night. And these are my time blocks within the day, right? And if I stick to that and I can get the basics done that I have to get every day as a business leader, as a dad, as a husband, then I've got margin in there to say yes to do things like this. And these are the things that, while may feel a little uncomfortable at first. I'm not going to lie to you. And this email came in. I was like, another thing. But it was like, no, I got to say yes to this. And even yesterday, thinking about this and planning my day for today, thinking, I got a lot going on. I can't believe I'm going to do this tomorrow. Right? But I tell myself, look, get past that uncomfortableness, stick with your yes. And on the other side, you're going to come out being really happy you did it. And every single time, that's the case. It's just amazing. Every time you say yes to something, even if you're a little uncomfortable with it, I always come out on the other side, and I'm so happy I did it.
Thank you for saying yes.
Yeah, thank you. And we're going to make this as pain-free as possible.
And I think too, Alex, I just think great businesses always have, I mean, you've heard, you hear customer first, you hear it's about service, it's about people. I mean, who really wants a culture of people? No. So I get it.
Right.
It's there's always boundaries. There's always something, someone who might abuse, but you lead with yes, and I think it's a really, really. I've never heard anybody say it quite like that.
Before we leave the topic, give us a quick idea of how you structure your days and your weeks.
Oh, sure.
Because I think I'm
valuable.
I'm always looking.
You're in on this.
Yeah.
This is a selfish question.
Now he's going to have to reprogram his whoop, and once you tell
I'm
him
always
this.
trying
Well,
to
I
figure
know
it
this
out.
guy, and he does a lot of this himself, and I know how disciplined he is, and he's someone I've admired from afar for a while. I just start early every day at the same time. Quiet time alone. So I'm downstairs out of bed about 6 a.m. on the dot every morning in our house. I'm not an early morning exercise guy. So that's my time alone. Nobody's awake. I can be in the Bible. I can be in prayer. Sometimes I'll just sit and just think, have my coffee. And then I take my youngest to school, and the day starts. And throughout the morning, I just have set time blocks for things that I want to get done for the business, like reviewing yesterday's surveys from customers, looking at financial data, looking at KPIs that we track for the previous day. And I like to get through all of that every single morning. And I really kind of feel off my game if I don't do those things that just that first hour and a half.
So is that 8 to 9? Is that more 8:30, 9:30?
That's about 7:45 to
8:45.
to 8:45, 9 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
So this morning I finished that stuff about 9, and that kind of frees me up to move into other things where I'm involved with marketing or advertising that we're doing, working with our folks on that team would be something that I would move into. I'm not a big lunch guy.
Yep.
I've never been a big let's go have lunch and talk for an hour and a half. It's just not my style, and I'm very upfront with people
I love
with that.
Yeah,
and if people will, hey, let's go grab lunch. You know what? I do coffee.
Yep.
I can meet you for an early coffee.
Yeah.
if you'd like.
And that kind of weeds out some of that. Probably.
Yeah, I find that the lunches they really are a time. They can be a time suck.
Yeah.
And I stay away from them. So my lunch is either in the office and I'm working through.
Yep.
Or I do like if the weather's nice. I will. We're right real close to where y'all are. I'll walk to Eatsy's and grab something at Eatsy's and walk back, so I get a little exercise in.
Love it.
During lunch.
Perfect.
And so the rest of the day is there's some structure to it. There's obviously weekly meetings and things like that we have. About 4:15 I cut out, and we've got a gym at the office, and that's my workout time.
Yep.
So I really enjoy an afternoon workout. It kind of energizes me. So I'll hit the gym, spend an hour in there, and then come back to the office, finish the day and work out close, but it's just down the hall.
Yep.
And I'll finish the day for another hour or so and wrap up and go home.
It's awesome.
So quick question. If you're not doing lunch, right, when do you do your sort of networking or relationship building, that when does that aspect happen?
Usually it's an 8 a.m.
Okay.
coffee somewhere.
Okay.
That will just kind of push my day back a little bit. But that's my preferred.
You're dropping kids
method.
off and then going to the coffee.
Yeah,
and that's
so
when
you'll find me at Park House many mornings, nice and quiet, coffee and a discussion with somebody.
Yeah. So last question.
No, it's not. Keep going, baby.
Yeah.
On this
Keep rolling.
topic. So 4:15, like workout, like I think I toggle back and forth between morning and afternoon, and I prefer the afternoon, but the morning just works better.
Yeah.
Because then what happens is, potentially there's a YPO event or there's something in the evening. So how do you manage that?
I will shower at the office and the gym and rush home, get my wife for the YPO event, or
Just
like today.
wedge it in before the event. Yeah.
So today we've got a 7 p.m. lacrosse game at the high school that I've got to be at. I want to be at.
Yeah.
I'll work out. I'll take a quick shower. I'll go back to the office, do a little finish up, and I'll get in the car and go to the game.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah.
Boy, I miss lacrosse games. They're so enjoyable. Let's back up a little bit on family. Tell us about your wife, where you met, and your kiddos.
My wife is from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
She went to Baylor.
Yeah.
Were y'all there together?
What year did she graduate?
She would have graduated, let's see, 95.
Oh, bro.
I'm a little ahead.
Bro, he's so much older. Late 70s, early 80s?
Not just a little
I might be a
older.
year older.
You are a year older.
I am a
by
year
the
older.
way.
So
Thank
we
you.
met, we were both working at Arthur Andersen in their business consulting unit. It was the Y2K craze. Everybody thought that their computer systems were going to crash, so we had plenty of business.
Oh, my in-laws still got canned goods in the basement, baby. I still got them.
Yeah. So we were putting in ERP systems left and right for folks that thought they had this massive deadline they had to meet, and we were on a project in Pascagoula, Mississippi,
Oh, boy.
at a shipyard.
Oh,
And we replaced all their technology. I was there for 2 years. She was there for about a year.
Wow.
And that's how we met.
Did you start dating in Pascagoula?
We did.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Did your bosses know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so
That's incredible.
yeah, that's how we met. We married in 2000. We're about to have our 25th wedding anniversary next month.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
And with 3 daughters. One's a second-year student at the University of Virginia. We've got a junior at Ursuline Academy in Dallas here, and a 6th grader at Providence Christian School.
It's awesome. Boy, I remember one of my daughters played lacrosse, and the Ursuline, she went to Highland Park. The games against Ursuline and Hockaday, they were amazing.
Yeah.
They were good times.
Yeah.
Who do y'all play tonight?
They play Flower Mound.
Okay, yeah.
That'll probably be a pretty good game.
That'd be a great game.
Yeah.
I want to go back to one of the things that you talked about. What are the KPIs that you all are watching daily, weekly?
Yeah, sure. So we use Microsoft Power BI, which is a great tool. So we've got an amazing dashboard that allows us to drill down so many levels. What's important for a business like ours, which, in essence, we're an airline, right?
Yeah.
We have all the same functions as an airline, from maintenance to catering to supply, safety, training. So we closely, obviously, track our utilization rate, which is, some people call it load factor, what it might be, but we're looking at how many seats were sold on a given trip, on a given route, at a given time, on a day of the week, et cetera. So we track that really, really closely.
And do you have a goal that you're shooting for?
Of course.
What is that
I mean,
goal?
it's all driven by the financials. The goal is 100%.
So the goal is 100%?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
The goal is to have full buses on every
yeah,
trip.
yeah.
The reality is that's not going to happen at, when we have 6 a.m. departures.
Right.
So, there's a trip almost every hour of the day starting at 6 a.m. for us. Last year we did 23,000 trips.
Wow.
And so we're intensely focused on that utilization number and looking to see, Tuesdays at 8 a.m., why is that doing so well, but Wednesdays at 8 a.m. isn't, for example.
Yep.
And drilling down even to the direction the trip is coming, is Dallas to Austin versus Austin to Dallas, or is how's Fort Worth doing? So we're looking at all the different routes that we have, all the different cities that we service from a utilization standpoint. So number of trips that we did, the number of passengers, the utilization rate. We look at what we call our severely impacted passenger rate. So it's the SIP rate. The percentage of total passengers that had a serious negative experience or something.
Yep.
We're really proud of the fact that it's just minuscule.
Yep.
We look at our rate for what we call roadside issues, where a vehicle has a mechanical issue with passengers aboard on the side of the road.
Yep.
Again, you're talking, on a 2,000 trip month having 2 issues.
Yep.
So we're really, really proud of the fact that these are very, very good numbers, but we watch them
Absolutely.
really closely. And then we we are big fans of the Net Promoter Score.
Yeah.
And so every day, every passenger gets the Net Promoter Score survey. Super, super easy for them to answer. Takes seconds. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend Vonlane to your friends, family, or colleagues? And so we watch that like a hawk on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. We read all the comments that people give us, and we're proud that we have consistently now for 11 years been over 90 on our
awesome.
promoter score.
Congrats.
And the airlines are in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're really, really proud of that.
That's great. Let's go back to Arthur Anderson, and then kind of what was next, and then what was next, and then bring us up to the decision point for Vonlane.
Sure. Well, Enron was next.
So you went from Pascagoula to Houston?
No, I then spent 2 years in Mexico. So I traveled a lot. I spent about 2 years in Nashville, 2 years in Mississippi, 2 years in Mexico City when I was at Anderson. And Enron hit, and the firm, it was just a disaster.
Yeah.
And I was recently telling people, I thought I was going to retire at Arthur Anderson.
Yeah.
I loved it. The culture was phenomenal. I was moving fast.
Yep.
I was a senior manager when Enron hit. The next step was partner, and I loved it. And
What'd you love about the culture?
oh man, it was the people they hired, the clients they took, the spirit of camaraderie, common purpose,
Wow.
hard work with reward. It was a really special place. And I think anyone you talk to is going to tell you the same thing about that. And so Enron hit, and it was devastating because, we really, really thought, Amy and I, we were married at the time when Enron hit, that's where I was going to be for a very long time. And our consultancy, the national consultancy practice, was purchased by Hitachi Consulting, who at the time was trying to build a competitor to IBM's consulting services. And so they bought us, and I went over there, and it just
Wasn't the same.
Culture was not the same.
No, it wasn't. It was okay. I think I stuck it out a year and a half or maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And I got a call from a friend who said there's this business that's a startup, and they need someone like yourself to come in and run day-to-day operations, help the founder. And so I joined that business, and I was president of that business for 10 years. It was ground transportation.
Okay.
So that was my first foray into ground transportation. And what we focused on was, there was 5 or 6 of us when I started there. We focused on chauffeured ground transportation for private jet travelers.
Okay.
So we figured out early on that the private jet community, they're not renting cars. Their spouse isn't picking them up at the airport. There's a black SUV waiting on the tarmac with a sharp-dressed chauffeur waiting for them.
Yep.
And every private jet company that we talked to said, man, the ground transportation and the catering are my 2 biggest headaches. The sandwich is soggy.
Yep.
They're furious. The car isn't there when they land at Teterboro Airport, and they want the flight comped because they're going to miss their meeting.
Yep.
If you can fix the ground transportation for us,
It's last mile. It's like it's interesting.
it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So we set out to do that. And early on, we convinced NetJets to give us a try, the 800-pound, gorilla in the room. And they put us in their kind of vendor list as the backup provider. And we made it our mission in life to never say no to them.
Yep.
So again, saying yes to them. And they'd get a lot of last minute flight requests. Somebody calls up, hey, I need a plane in 4 hours, and I'm going to LA, and I need a car waiting for me. And so they'd be scrambling to have the car because it's hard to do that. So we would always say, yes, we'll get it. We'll get a car and driver there. We'll make it happen. And we gradually got into their good graces, and they saw that we were doing excellent work. And then we got Marquis Jet, which is another behemoth in the industry who worked closely with them. And Marquis Jet said to NetJets, whenever we travel, whenever a Marquis Jet customer travels, we want it was Savoya, was the name of the company. And so we took that and just exploited the private jet market. We FlexJet, Flight Options, all the major providers. And then we started working with corporate flight departments, Nike, Caterpillar, McKesson. Whenever those corporate jets flew in 60 countries around the world on both ends of the trip, we coordinate all the ground transportation for them.
Wow.
We had CEOs, I won't even share names, but they would have security details fly in ahead of them, meet our chauffeurs, look at the vehicles, do dry runs on the route that they wanted to take and make sure the drivers knew where the hospital was, things like that, and vet them themselves. And then the principal would fly in the next day and we would do these movements on the ground. So it was really high touch, a lot of logistics. We built specialized technology to work with the chief of security, the chief pilot, the flight department scheduler, the executive assistant, really integrated with them, and they loved it. And what happened was, along the way, one of them said, hey, you do such a great job with the handful of folks that can fly in the private jet. We're going to bring a couple thousand people into Vegas. Can you do a big group event? And we said, sure, we can do that. So
how quickly can we paint a Greyhound bus?
Yeah, exactly. And so we grabbed a 20-year-old kid who worked for us and said, hey, get on a plane and go to Vegas, and you kind of be on the ground there and make sure this goes well. And we picked up, tons of people, coming off commercial flights and individual vehicles at the airport. We coordinated buses in the evenings to different events around Vegas and dinners. The end of the weekend, put a bill together for them. They'd spent way more than they had ever spent with us just doing the private jet work.
Yeah.
So we said, hey, we got to get into this meeting and events business.
There's more zeros on the end of this.
Yeah. So we built a technology product and a big business around serving big meeting and event planners. So Starbucks sends 10,000 store managers to New Orleans, for example. Pfizer brings 3,000 doctors into Chicago for a meeting. We would do all the ground transportation for those. And we built a really nice business doing that. And that's where I got the exposure to the bus world.
Okay.
And so 10 years of doing that, I kind of got the itch to do something else and do something where I actually was the founder.
Yep.
And I had equity in that business. I sold it, left, and put that towards Vonlane because I saw this bus space that we'd gotten an exposure to doing meetings and events, and I saw it was such a mess. It was just a mom and pop dominated space, bad equipment, not much technology, not a lot of management expertise. And I thought to myself, I can do that better. And I started investigating the industry. And the original plan was to build your typical charter bus business where True North can charter the whole vehicle and take your employees to the ballpark for a Rangers game, right?
Yep.
And I started investigating that and realized that there wasn't a lot of corporate use for that solution. And the users of that solution were very price sensitive. Think high schools, camps, church groups, right? They're looking for a low-cost solution to move people. And I did not want to get into anything
that's called
cost.
a school bus.
Yeah. And so I did not want to do that. And along the way, I was talking to some of the sales folks who sell motor coach buses in the United States. And I was complaining to one guy one day. And I said, Rob, man, I just, your industry, what you're selling is terrible. These cloth seats, they look like a circus.
Yeah.
The interior isn't very sexy. I just don't like what you're selling. And he kind of, in a frustrated way, said, well, I can just sell you an empty one and you can do whatever you want with the inside. I said, oh, really? You can do that? He said, yeah, we could delete the seats. We could delete the rest. We delete everything. We'll just sell you, a box on wheels with an engine. And I said, okay. I said, well, who could help me build something that I like on the inside? He's like, well, there's these companies out there that take our buses and they build a motorhome for the NASCAR drivers, for the country music singers. It's a huge business. I said, well, can you introduce me to one of those guys? So he introduced me to a guy in Virginia that I still work with today, great business partner. And right away it was, our minimum is $2 million.
Yeah.
Now a $2 million coach at that time, has 4 pop-outs, a king-size bed, a full kitchen, a full master bathroom. These things are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I said, well, I don't want to spend $2 million. And I kind of got the brush off, but persistence. And we came up with a solution to build a seated coach like we do that is more of just a private jet cabin. Very high-end first-class cabin with, instead of having 56 small, narrow seats in the typical bus, we just have 22 big, oversized seats, tons of recline leg rest, a nice kitchen galley, a really nice restroom. And the idea was, at that point, that I had heard more and more folks, the Wright Amendment had gone away. More and more folks in Dallas were getting frustrated with Southwest Airlines and Love Field.
Yep.
TSA hadn't really figured things out yet like they do now.
Yep.
And a lot of people were saying, when I got to go to Austin or Houston, I just drive. It's just easier than going to the airport and dealing with that. And I had a YPO friend tell me a story about how he tried to do a day trip to Houston, there and back, driving. And he had to pull over at the end of the day because he was falling asleep and literally take a nap at a rest stop. Because that's almost 8 hours of driving in a day.
Yeah.
That's tough on an individual. And so I got this idea, why can't there be something for Texans other than Southwest Airlines or driving themselves between all these great cities in the
so
triangle?
Has you left Savoya?
Yes.
You were.
Oh yeah. This was all.
You're
I'm
gone.
in startup.
You're trying to
investigative business model.
So you weren't
mode.
100% clear what the model was
No,
going
I
to
was
be.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, because originally I had left to start this regional charter business.
Yeah.
And then once I got into it, I realized don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so what am I going to do? And then this started to formulate this Savoya idea. This Vonlane
I want you
idea.
to keep going the story, but a question there. From the day you left Savoya to the first bus, first motor
Yeah.
Coach.
coach
Yeah.
is how long?
Let's see. A year, maybe 15 months or something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That
Okay.
sounds about right.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
All right,
so
keep going.
Yeah. So put this idea together, like let's have an alternative in Texas, but who's going to want to ride a bus? It's got just a bad connotation to it, a bus. And so it had to be luxury. It had to be first class. And the design was really important of the interior. And so fortunately, we were able to work together and we designed this great, solution. And we started with just Dallas, Austin as our route, 2 buses.
Yep.
And people quickly gravitated toward it. We knew early on that we had something. The people were getting the value proposition of it's very similar door to door, if not faster. It's more comfortable. I can get more work done. I'm not falling behind. And so we thought we were going to be laser focused on the business traveler. What we quickly learned was it was a solution for everyone.
Yep.
And leisure travelers jumped all over it. And so today we're really focused on both business segments. And we quickly started adding more vehicles. We added Dallas, Houston. We added Austin to Houston. We opened up San Antonio, Fort Worth. And then we were growing like weeds. I mean, through 2019, it was unbelievable, just rapid growth. I won the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award for the Southeast. We were Inc. 500. It was crazy growth. And then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And we just took a sucker punch.
Oh my gosh.
it was
Beyond.
Unbelievable.
So walk us through that.
Walk us through.
Okay.
And
It's such a nightmare.
you can say a lot of words and we'll edit them. Maybe.
Yeah. No. Oh, it was.
I told you we wouldn't try to trap you, but maybe we
Yeah,
will.
no, it was
Walk us through
for a
that.
business owner, entrepreneur who had this baby that they'd nurtured for 6 years to see it just decimated by this pandemic. It was so hard. I mean, it was. I remember March of 2020, the day that they canceled March Madness,
Yep.
NCAA March Madness. That was the start of it. I
Yep.
mean, we saw everything get canceled at that point. We had negative sales for 30, 45 days, people just canceling for refunds. Everything was, all the events they were going to, all the conferences, business meetings, everything was being canceled. And so we took a major sucker punch from that. Fortunately, we were very healthy going in, and I think that helped companies. If you were healthy going in,
How
you
big
could
was
get
your
through it.
team at that point?
Oh, we probably had, I'd guess like 125 people or so.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
And how big is the team today?
200.
Okay. All right.
So we tried to hang on and continue to run. Pared down the schedule. We kind of felt like we had a duty to keep going, to give people some option to get between cities, to see sick loved ones, care for people who were sick. That's the way we looked at it. it just nobody was moving for anything.
Yeah.
And come June of that year, if you remember, everything was just kind of locked down, shut off. So we made a decision to halt operations. And so from June 1st until mid-July, we didn't run anything. Furloughed everyone except a few folks and shut everything down, took vehicles off insurance, parked them. It was really tough. And we tried a number of times after July to get going again. And we never stopped again, but we started in mid-July again, and we would see growth. We'd be optimistic, and then the Delta variant would hit, and we'd see growth again, and then what was the other variant? Some other variant,
Yeah.
and we'd see it go down again, and then all along the way, you have this mask mandate for travel.
Yeah.
So we were under that same mandate that the airlines were under.
Yeah.
And we felt like no one was watching us, but look, the government has this rule. We'd gotten PPP money. So we're like, look, if we're going to take PPP money, let's follow the government's law and require masks. People hated it.
Oh.
Texans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Texans hated it. So I think that really hurt us too.
Yeah.
And we were just always, come on, President Biden, please get rid of this, get rid of this. And I think he delayed. Finally, he got rid of it.
Yeah.
And that kind of took the shackles off, and we started to see growth again. And then it came back pretty good, to the point where we were able to go and do this expansion into the Southeast region. Now, backpedaling, I forgot to mention, when the pandemic hit and they canceled March Madness on March 13th or whatever of 2020, we were 3 weeks away from launching in Nashville. We had people hired, trained. We had deals with hotels. We were ready to go.
Vehicles.
It was going to be our first out-of-state expansion, which our model is to do more than just Texas. And we had to put it all on hold, and we didn't get back there until November of 23. We finally were able to do it. So from that July of 2020 to November of 23, it was build back Texas. That was our focus. Get Texas back to we called it. We need to have the same number of products on the shelf for people to buy that we had in March of 2020. Same number of seats for sale, trips per day, et cetera. And so it took us quite a while to get back there. And we got back in 2023. We're doing great financially, and decided now is the time to go and open up in Nashville and Atlanta and Memphis. And that's been real exciting for us. So it was a long road. I think we did a lot of things right. I'll say I think we kept our customers. We kept them very informed of what was happening. We took care of our team, and we learned a lot about just how you need to communicate with folks that work for you and with you when you're in a crisis. And I remember we had one of our daughters was signed up for a camp that summer when it happened, and we got nothing. We couldn't get an answer. Is it on? Is it not on? What's happening? We reached out. We don't know anything. We can't, or they wouldn't even respond. And so I looked at that and I said, you know what? For our business, we're going to tell our customers almost weekly what's happening.
Yeah.
We're going to tell
We're
them
going to be the opposite of that. Yeah.
And so we did that. I mean, I did video messages that we would blast out to our hundreds of thousands of customers saying, look, here's what's happening with your favorite attendants and drivers. We're taking care of them, just so you know. Here's what's happening with our business, and here's where we're going next. And I think the customers really appreciated that, just knowing that this is our plan. Here's how we're tackling this problem. But also, we were able to say, when people would ask us, when are you bringing this back, or when are you bringing this departure time back, to say, we don't know.
Yeah.
But as soon as we know, we'll tell you.
Exactly. Transparency builds trust. Even if the answer is, I don't know, at least you communicate.
Yeah.
What do you see what's the one or two biggest opportunities for Vonlane?
It's all about, for us, expanding the routes that we offer and the amount of departure times that we offer. And so we've always thought a huge opportunity for us, and one of the things that's special about our business is that we don't need a multi-billion-dollar airport, right? So our business model is we partner with hotels. They become our terminal, and in return, we purchase all of our catering from them. So our main hotel partner here in Dallas, for example, right by Love Field, we'll spend $500,000 with them this year. So we're a great customer to them, right? And they also get our passengers who come from other cities who step off the bus, and if they're smart, check in at that hotel because it's super easy and super convenient.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? So that's our value proposition with the hotels, of why we work with the hotels. And so we look at that as a strategic advantage to us because we can put terminals in close proximity to where you work, play, and live.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to always drive 30, 40 minutes to an airport.
Correct.
So we recently, 2 weeks ago, opened up what we're calling our first suburban terminal.
Okay.
And so we now have a route that leaves from Plano here in Dallas, right? It's really close to Frisco, like one exit away from all the Star, the Universal Studios theme park that's coming, the PGA that's up there, everything that's going on up there, not to mention all the people who live up there. They now have a really quick trip to get to our terminal, which is a great hotel right next to the shops at Legacy, the Renaissance Hotel. They can come into the hotel, they can enjoy an amazing lobby, get a cup of coffee, have a drink at the bar, get a meal, board the coach. We take them to Austin, and their trip is done, and it's super easy for them. And so that's an opportunity for us, is looking at the cities that we're in and putting these new terminals further out from the city center where people live, and frankly where a lot of businesses are starting to locate. There's more and more businesses opening up in North Austin, for example. You've got the Energy Corridor west of downtown Houston where we could go. You've got Exxon in Conroe north of Houston where we'll go. You've got Round Rock in Austin. So we're looking at all those areas where people are moving to live, where companies are coming in, and where entertainment is going. And we're saying we can put a terminal in those locations and give them a nonstop option to another city.
Phenomenal. Do you have hotels calling you?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So a couple quick questions. I know when you started, I think you had one individual investor that you partnered with, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Still together.
Okay. And has
guy.
that relationship been able to fund all the growth, or have you had to take some outside capital? Or
the only reason we took any additional was just to make room for some friends and family early on. We probably didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But yes, the growth has been funded by the business to date.
That's
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else in the country doing this in other parts of the country, or?
Yeah. So it's a great question. We've had a couple copycats.
I would imagine.
We had one great guy. I got to know him. He started up almost the exact same service. He copied the interior of our buses, same color on the outside, same layout on the inside, and he started a service between Virginia Beach and Washington, D.C., and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so, great story, but I was able to buy his vehicles. And now,
at a discount.
If he's listening, he's a genius because he built them where it was plug and play for us to buy them and bring them in. So we were his insurance policy.
Yeah.
It didn't work for a number of reasons we won't get into today. So that was great. We were able to do that. And then another one popped up doing New York City to Washington, D.C., and also did not make it. And that one just stopped service about a month ago. And so I've been to look at those vehicles, and the jury's out if they'll work for us. He didn't quite do them the way we would need them.
He didn't
copy you.
He didn't. His video of the interior was not as good as the other guy's video was.
Yeah, they're really different than ours, and so it would pose a lot of issues for us to absorb those.
What are go? He has to cut me off.
High speed rail.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
The proxy is California, which has been a disaster.
Yeah.
It's way over budget. I think given the current political climate and the government, the current government, and frankly, I think our population in the United States' propensity right now to want to cut costs hurts the chances of it happening in Texas. I think that people are looking at our tax dollars, frankly, and saying, what's the best use of our tax dollars? And we don't really have a shining example to show that we can build a high-speed rail and do it responsibly with taxpayer dollars. Now, can somebody come along and try and fund it with all private funds, which was initially the plan here in Texas? Maybe. I think there's a lot of folks in Austin who work in the Capitol who would fight it tooth and nail, protecting, the different ranchers and things like that.
Yeah.
A high-speed train has a lot of different requirements when you go through someone's land than a regular train. Because it's high speed, the entire corridor needs to be fenced off, in essence, cutting your ranch into two ranches, or it needs to be an elevated track. If it's an elevated track, your costs are going to go through the roof.
Yeah, it's got to be 10 times or something crazy.
So I think it's an uphill battle right now, given the results of the last election. If it was to happen, I think it's a very, very, very long way away.
Yeah, it's probably a decade or more before.
Or more.
Yeah. So you're not.
I hope that answers your question. I'm not. It doesn't keep me up at night.
Yeah, you're not thinking about it every day. Yeah.
No.
Which always leads us to, what does keep you up at night?
Ooh. I think like anyone, hiring, it's hard to find in our business, CDL, commercial driver's license drivers.
So you're in that same as the transportation, trucking.
Absolutely. There's a shortage in the United States. We have a culture of, graduate from high school and you've got to go to college, right? Not go to trade school, not go learn to be a diesel mechanic or go get a CDL and have a career as a driver. And so we had a lot of drivers, even ours, when the pandemic hit, who were kind of towards the end of their career, say, you know what, I'm just going to hang it up at this point. I'm good.
Yeah.
And so we lost a lot of good folks.
Probably 3 to 5
when I say
years.
we, I mean the industry. I think lost a lot of good drivers, and it's been hard to get young folks filling that. So we're constantly looking and hiring drivers, and we think we have probably the most stringent requirements to hire a driver in our industry. We're really, really strict about their experience levels, their driving record, et cetera. And so it precludes us from hiring a lot of the population. So it makes our job really tough at Vonlane. So that's one thing that, I'm always thinking about. And, and then, heck, our main core value is safety. And so, when you're doing, a couple thousand trips a month, we'll probably do 30,000 trips this year. You want them all to be safe. And so we're constantly harping on safety with our team and training about safety and doing safety review and things like that. And so as a CEO and founder of a company like this, you're always up at night a little bit worried about safety.
How many vehicles do y'all have?
We have 37 vehicles.
37.
So, start with the end in mind. What's kind of the long, and I've talked about this over the years a little bit here and there, but kind of how do you think about the long-term, exit or monetization or, how do you think about that?
Yeah. I would say we're probably, because of the pandemic, about 3 years behind where we should be right now. We should be probably early on in a third region of the country right now. Instead, we're, a year and a half or two into our first outside of Texas region, which is doing great. We're happy that Nashville is a phenomenal market. It's booming. It's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
You go to Nashville, you leave and you feel really fired up and empowered. It's some cranes everywhere and it's just, great people. And so Nashville, Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta's great. We're adding Nashville, Knoxville next later this year. So we're excited about that. But I think, long term it is to continue to build the business to show that it's more than a Texas play. That's really important for the enterprise value, is to show someone this is more than a Texas play. I think we're doing that now in the Southeast region. I'd like to do it some more. And then
can you talk? Can you comment on where do it some more might be?
I'll tell you, it won't be the Northeast, and it won't be California.
It's got to be Florida. I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Where all of your nieces and nephews, cousins moved from. It had Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. It's
So
gotta be Florida.
Florida's got the Brightline rail system, which is doing pretty well and working.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm disconnected by 25 years to okay. Interesting. So
But
you
there
have
are
a rail competitor.
and they're not the rail isn't everywhere there. There are some routes that we're interested in there.
Yeah.
But we've always liked kind of the Big Ten, SEC, ACC.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of if you're a sports person listening, you get what we're thinking. We're not Big East or old Pac-10 folks.
Yeah. And again, the Northeast has a rail system that's been used for a very long time. So trying to break into
DC,
that.
Washington, the Acela on Amtrak is great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it's good.
Yeah.
So I think Scott, I think that's the plan is still to keep building, prove that the model can be taken to other regions, and then look there. There's potential strategic buyers from overseas, and there's also obviously private equity that might want to get into something like this. We have proven that an asset-intensive business like this is lucrative. Our first two vehicles are still running. They're 11 years old. They're approaching 2 million miles. But along the way, what we do is new engines, new transmissions, interior
Refresh.
full refresh, refurbishment, and we take care of the outside. So you'll never know. You don't even know. You walk aboard.
Correct.
You have no idea.
How long you stroke a check for $1 million for a new bus? How long until the bus is paid for?
By the business.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Like how many? Like it's
How many
are you-
trips, so to
Are you
speak?
6 months and you basically paid for the bus? at
Yeah,
that point?
6 to
Something
9
like
months.
that?
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
just a guess,
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
So you own them all,
We own them all. We don't lease anything.
and are you servicing? Do you hire the mechanics?
Yeah, we have mechanics in Houston, in Dallas, and in Austin.
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of it is along the way now we have figured out this is when we do a new engine.
Yep.
This is when we do a transmission. It goes in for 2 interior refurbishments along the way. We've got a body shop guy who's constantly making sure there's nothing wrong with the outside. So the average person has no idea that they may be getting in a vehicle that's 7 years old and's got 750,000 miles on it.
And Alex, what's interesting about that is cars, the form factor is changing all the time. I know that's an old Yukon.
right.
Buses, no one's changed the design of the bus in 50 years. I mean, a long time. To your point, if the engine is fresh and the interior is fresh, no one really cares.
Right. And
there is no, I'm riding in an old bus.
Yeah, so we have definitely benefited from that, and that the 2 platforms that we use have not done a refresh of the exterior of the vehicle, so you can't tell one from another as far as the manufacturing year.
So one of the things we always ask and talk about, and this is kind of related to the exit question, is we're always coaching entrepreneurs to like be prepared.
Yep.
Right? Like, get your personal house in order, get your business in order to maximize the valuation, to maximize your after tax, net proceeds when the ultimate exit does come. So is that so far out for you that you're not even thinking about some of those things, or are you, kind of dabbling and working through them as they come along, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think about it very much yet. It's
you're
probably
just
a little
focused
bit
on
further
building.
out.
Yeah.
I do know that my attorney and my estate attorney has done all that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I probably didn't pay enough attention to it all, but I do know that I think I was telling someone the other day, I was like, I don't know what I even own. It's like this trust is on the, it's like this trust or that trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've done some of that already, but I should know more about that.
It's all right.
Well, I think to Scott's point, what we find is you're busy running a business, even for very, very sophisticated, smart, thoughtful people like you are all of those things. You still, to have that discipline to work not in, but on, and then you just literally don't know when you might get an email or a phone call, and doesn't mean that says, I'm interested in buying your business. And often what happens is it catches people by surprise, and before you know it, you're talking about an LOI and you've lost some time.
Right.
So it's that building with the end in mind. One of our guests that we had today, George Coltrus, has founded a new M&A advisory firm called Trendero, and he had just a really great point about a continuity plan, whether you ever, I mean, we'll always use it, right? I mean, you're going to die at some point, but the continuity plan doesn't have to be used in 18 months, but it's there to have.
On the shelf.
It's on the shelf and ready to have. And I think but it's just hard to take the time when you're still knee deep in the middle of it. You think about, if you had to put down who are the most likely, other than private equity, who would buy you all today?
I mean, we've been approached by, we recently were approached by a multi-state shuttle service that runs smaller vehicles on contract basis for different entities, shuttle to the airports, things like that. They've got a nice little business, and they approached us about talking to us. It wasn't a fit for us, and the timing is not right for us, so we passed. There's a company that bought Greyhound that's from overseas, and they could be a potential acquirer one day when they decide that they want to move up, have a
luxury market,
have a higher level offering than just Greyhound and some of their other brands that they run under. I think that would be really interesting, but I think they've got a lot of work, like you were kind of alluding to clean up the house over there, because I think Greyhound was a kind of a financial mess when they got it, but they're smart folks, and they really are, and they're huge in Europe. So I think they're going to figure that out, and I think it would be there'd be some great synergies there for us eventually to be a part of that family. There's some big motor coach operators in South America who might want to come up into the U.S. So they're out there for us, and we're aware of what's going on in the marketplace, obviously.
Would a big transportation, like would an American Airlines ever consider?
I think it's probably too far out of their wheelhouse. We've had very intense talks at one point with an airline about doing a kind of a land to air connection. So, for example, bringing folks from I don't know, like an Abilene that doesn't have a big airport, to Dallas to then get on an aircraft and fly to New York. And we've gone through a lot of work on that, and it fell apart. But there's things like that probably would happen with an airline, and Americans doing that in some markets now, where they're working with some bus operators to bring folks directly to the airport, and you actually bypass security. Your bag gets checked once when you get on the bus in your hometown, and it gets right onto the aircraft. It's pretty nice. So there's opportunities like that, but we, like any business, we really try to stay true to our core, service offering, which is just this scheduled service. We leave on time, we get you there comfortably. You can work, you can relax.
You can have a drink.
Yeah, you can have a drink and give you lots of times. I mean, we're leaving every hour now from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. between Dallas and Austin and Dallas and Houston.
It's amazing.
So
I am. How many years has it been since you ran?
11.
11 years.
Yeah, next month will be 11.
I'm so proud of what you've accomplished, because I remember when you started. And it's amazing what you've built. And even though there was some tough times there in the middle, which always happens with every entrepreneurial journey, but I'm really proud of what you guys have built.
Thank you. It's been
and
a
you
blast.
should be too.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex, beyond excited. I could keep you here another hour, but I want you to say yes the next time we call. So thank you for joining us on Decision Points, and thank you for listening and watching. Hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you.